I went to the doctor about a week ago. They said my blood was too thick. Said you've got to go give blood. So you need to give at least a pint of blood.
I have to do that because of testosterone.
That's what I'm getting, testosterone shots, uh, it makes me feel better. But there again, I don't want to stroke out because of it. And anyway, so I went day before yesterday and gave a good solid pint of blood. She showed me how thick it was. She pricked my finger and it just balled up, and I had no idea. And I believe off of the distance we can hear the excitement as it begins with the Oliver Springs Police Department probably leading the way. Too far away for us to see. Well, we can only see the lights, but I imagine that's going to be what we have. Here they come, and this actually has become a wonderful parade, especially for the size of the town. I think Oliver Springs has maybe 4,000 people. I can't recall. Last I heard, it was somewhere in that area. But we just have a bang up parade for the size of town we are. A lot of civic pride right now. It's just a good time to be in Oliver Springs. I actually was born here, Brad Jones, many years ago. Left here during a lot of my childhood and came back when I was a freshman in high school. And I've been here ever since, and this is home for me. Always was and always will be. And let's see who we've got leading the way here. Oliver Springs Police Department. And those there are a couple of BMW motorcycles, so they're riding in style tonight. One of my favorite bikes in the world right there. They've never chased me on one of them, but I'd say they'd probably catch you. Let's see if I can see Chief Laxton here. That's Chief Laxton right there. Merry Christmas. That's our police chief here in Oliver Springs. And Anderson County Constable. And I didn't know we had so many constables, but I do now. I think I mentioned the temperature. It feels like a wintertime Christmas parade, a December Christmas parade tonight. I would say the temperature may be hovering around freezing. Wouldn't you say, Brad? Right around freezing, and so there's a nip in the air, as it should be this time of year for a proper Christmas parade. I was looking earlier for Mayor Jason Stiltner. He's a friend of mine, and our families go way, way back to my youth, and haven't seen him yet. Anderson County Sheriff, Merry Christmas. The Stiltner family, they have been here all my life and before. And the Stiltner family actually lived down below my girlfriend's house at the time, who is now my wife, has been for many years. And so we kind of grew up together. Let's see who we've got here. Can't tell. Merry Christmas. Who was that, Brad? Anderson County Sheriff Parker. He's going incognito tonight. He should put his logo on the side. Anderson County Sheriff. Oh, we've got our friends down at Harriman showing up for our parade. Merry Christmas. This looks like the DAV, Tri-County Chapter, Disabled American Veterans, and they always kind of lead the procession. Just a bunch of good folks. Let's see, is that a Hemi Barracuda? Yeah, convertible. Don't anybody hit it. That's a $150,000 car right there. Merry Christmas. We always have some of the most beautiful classic cars that I grew up with lusting after, because that's back in the day some of my friends had. Good looking Chevy right there. I remember, Brad, back in the wilder old days, occasionally you get one of the cars come through and would light it up just a little bit for the kids. And, of course, the kids loved it, but the police kind of hated it. And so they don't do that much anymore. But what a beautiful car. Merry Christmas. What you got? Uh-oh. I thought he was going to let her rip, but no, he changed his mind. Many of my friends growing up had cars like this, some of the hot performance cars of the day, the 55 Chevys and the GTXs and such. And Merry Christmas. I spent quite a bit of time drag racing or being in cars that were drag racing, but I never had one myself. Merry Christmas. Are you still going? Brad, one thing I should mention, I know that you know this because we've talked about this before, but Oliver Springs, back when it was around the time it was incorporated in 1905, was a booming resort town. And many people in the area have very little knowledge of that, or maybe no knowledge at all. But it was very much a resort town with right here at the gap that goes through the Walden Ridge and the road that leads back toward Windrock. There were 7 different types of springs, of mineral springs that emanated from various rock strata as it goes up the side of Walden Ridge there. And for many years, even before the settlers came in, it was well known to the Native Americans, and they had their own name for it. And if I said it, I would butcher it, and they would call me out on Facebook for it. But it was a name that meant healing waters. And so the Native Americans recognized the efficacy of the mineral springs. And by 1835, Richard Oliver, who had a nice brick inn out close to where Norwood School is now, he saw the potential of commercializing that. And so a lot of times when people would stay at his inn, he would take them down on horse and buggy to the spring site, and got quite a reputation for that. Oliver Springs Marching Bobcats. He doesn't realize it, but he lost his band. They're 100 yards away. Merry Christmas. I've got to say a little bit about our marching band here at the high school. I helped to put on to stage a concert that they did down here in town a few months ago, and it was a sit-down concert, kind of a concert format, and I was blown away by these kids, just absolutely blown away. Getting back to our story about Richard Oliver, there was also here in the Gap a man named Moses Winters. Hey, Merry Christmas, Ed Butler, one of my friends. Merry Christmas, sir. Doing a fine job for our part of the county. It's hard to narrate and pick up candy, but by George, if that's still there when we're through, then you know what I'll be doing. Anderson County Federated Republican Women, Merry Christmas. But Moses Winters built a mill dam across the Indian Creek as it comes out from Windrock and through the Gap. Beach Park Baptist Church. And set up a grist mill, which, of course, for any proper civilization settlement, you got to have a grist mill to grind the grain, make the bread, and so that was really, for all intents and purposes, the real founding of the town about that time. Merry Christmas, Beach Park Baptist Church. I'll tell you a secret about Beach Park. It's a wonderful group, wonderful people. They have moved their location for quite some time now. They've been out at Tri-County. They moved from the old Beach Park location and into more spacious headquarters out on Tri-County. And very, very vigorous church, bunch of good people. I was looking for Robbie Leach, the pastor, and he was on the float. He may be getting too old to walk it, Brad, but a wonderful guy, wonderful guy. Merry Christmas, Cass Express. We should do about a 30-second praise session on their wonderful pens. They leave these pens around, and even at church, we've got about 100 of them. I never am out without a pen that writes, and I thank them for that. Omega Lodge 536. Merry Christmas. Oh, they've got the Grinch. I hope they got him tied up. Merry Christmas. Free Medical Clinic. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. And the Civil War came along, of course, in 1861. And through the years of the Civil War, Oliver Springs had a rough go of it. It was actually called Winter's Gap after Moses Winters. And there were no major battles fought anywhere in and around Oliver Springs. But what there was, they had raiding parties that would come in from both Union and Confederate forces. They would come in and they would pick the area clean. If you had 40 bushels of corn in your corn crib, they would take it. And if you resisted, they would shoot you. And that happened several times. Mobile clinic. Let's see what we've got here. East Tennessee Buccaneers. Merry Christmas. So by the end of the Civil War, Winter's Gap what is now Oliver Springs was basically pit cleaning, and it is said that it was one of the more destitute towns and regions in the entire United States. And by the late 1800s, we were just starting to come out of that. Ato, Oak Ridge, Warehouse Road in Oak Ridge. Thank you. Merry Christmas. And that's another one from Ato. One thing that happened at the end of the Civil War, a lot of northern industrialists came down and invested in the area. Merry Christmas. And the Richards family, one of the biggest names for a lot of reasons, they came down, had a lot of money to invest. Marlow Fire Department. I'm talking between the fire trucks. It's hard to talk right next to one. Henderson County Rescue. Thank you for being at our parade this year. Blair Fire Department. Merry Christmas. Another Blair. But the Richards family, Joseph Richards, when he came down, Joseph Richards was a foundry man by experience. He'd immigrated from Wales across the ocean and had come to Maine, then to Massachusetts. But he came down looking for land that possessed coal. Merry Christmas, which of course coal, which is indispensable in the smelting of iron ore, and that's what he was interested in. So he bought up a whole lot of land around this area, he and other people kind of that cut. And one thing that he had money, and he built, Roane County Highway Department, he built an inn down here at the base of the ridge, and so they started to take advantage of the mineral springs. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. J. Preston's Realty and Auction. Oh, I see some floats coming up this way. Roane County Sheriff. And I'm friends with a lot of them. Sergeant Rob Sparks, being one of the deputies that I'm most familiar with, Roane County Sheriff's Department. And they do just a marvelous job with his work crew. They are based at the Roane County Jail. They go out and do work on churches and civic organizations. And just a fine man, and does such a fine job at what he does, helping to rehabilitate these men who are trying to get back on their feet and to redeem themselves. Merry Christmas. Looks like a little Opel GT maybe. Merry Christmas. But getting back to the Richards story, in 1894, they tore down the old inn and immediately went to work building a large resort. In 1895 spring season, they opened up with the Oliver Springs Hotel. Just the stuff of legend. Had you would go in when you would dine, you would actually have an Italian string orchestra that would serenade you while you dined, and just upscale all the way. And it is said that people came from all over the world to stay at this resort, which essentially was a health spa, because what they were doing was taking advantage of the mineral springs that were just so close at hand, adjacent to the hotel. And that existed until it burned in 1905. It caught fire and burned. Merry Christmas, Powell Clinch Utility District. Oh, my goodness, look here. Now, that's a nice float indeed. Merry Christmas. The shop. We specialize in 4x4 off-road, automotive diesel engines. When the hotel burned in 1905, getting back to my little story, it was hoped that it would be rebuilt, and for many years they thought that was what's going to happen. The hotel was underinsured by about 90%. Only $1 for every 10 was actually insured, and the financial loss just proved to be too great to rebuild. So, alas, it was not to be. Game over towing. Merry Christmas. One of the things that did keep Oliver Springs going through that time was the mines. More specifically, the Windrock mine, which was the most noteworthy. At the top of Windrock, employed hundreds of people. There was actually a mining camp at Upper Windrock and Lower Windrock, both of which were independent little communities, and both had their own commissary. Merry Christmas. Rather landscaping. And that's one of the things that kept Oliver Springs from falling on the absolute desperate times up and into the Depression. The Depression hit Oliver Springs very hard. Merry Christmas. Oh, Norwood Boys and Girls Club. Hey, I know that guy. Yeah, he owes me a present. Merry Christmas. We're getting real now. Let's see what we've got. Number 3, who's the driver? I think I've seen some of these guys out at the Wartburg Raceway. My friend Ted Lau races out there and does very well. It's my wife's first cousin, so we have a lot of fun out there, and I'm sure we don't have as much fun as they do, but we have a good time watching them. What is it? Yeah. You can tell who the serious racers are they've got all these different colors on their car. They like to swap and paint. There's a lot of swap and paint that goes on out there. And some of it's involuntary, mostly involuntary, I should say. Grow Sam's. Easy Tow. Merry Christmas. Folks, if you get in your car to start it up after the parade and it won't start, I think we've got you covered. Merry Christmas. I would not dare to venture on what that rig there cost, but it looks like it cost a penny. Beautiful cut. Yeah. My friend Brad said, yeah, the horn works. That's the understatement of the year, Brad. Merry Christmas. Gary Long, Road Superintendent, thank you so much for being a part of what we do here. We've got friends in the various county road departments that help us out here in town and are just very good to us, and so we certainly appreciate them. Mineral Springs, some of my friends from Mineral Springs Baptist Church. Up Spring Street, just as you should go up toward Dutch Valley and Frost Bottom. Underwood Paving. I don't think we're kin, but I wish we were. If I give him a big enough plug, you just never know. Merry Christmas. He may be my cousin, Brad. I should be nice to him. And getting back to our little history lesson about Oliver Springs, a lot of things changed with the coming of the Second World War. Right before the start of the Second World War, it was said that Oliver Springs had fallen on hard times from the Depression, and the coal mines were one of the only things that really were kind of keeping things going. And some of the coal miner families would come into Oliver Springs and do some commerce, and that kept some of the stores open. But by 1940, Oliver Springs had fallen on hard times. And it's never a good thing when you see a world war break out. Let's see, what do we got here? I bet he could light it up if he really chose to do it. Devaney's East and Trees here in downtown Oliver Springs, and some of our friends that have invested in our little town, and they make a great hot dog. Oliver Springs Fire Department. They're camera shy. I can't get them to look this way. Merry Christmas. I have some family members in the Oliver Springs Fire Department, some of the firefighters, and certainly what they do is very highly valued. We appreciate them so much. Merry Christmas. Hey, Merry Christmas. There's Jason. Hey. I was going to interview him, but it looks like he's having a better time up there. Merry Christmas. Okay. Let me. Okay. And so that about wraps it up. That's our finest, the Oliver Springs Police Department, bringing up the tail of our parade. But I want to thank you for tuning in with us on this cold Saturday evening and joining us as we presented the Oliver Springs Christmas Parade to you. And I want to say that 2025 is not far away. And so my prayer for you, if you're watching this evening, is that you have peace and prosperity and health, and then get your family around you and just love them all, because it's precious. And anyway, thank you for sitting down and joining us in the 2024 Oliver Springs Christmas Parade.